Jane, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ray. I see that beautiful DeSoto background there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Are you doing all right?
Sir. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Lincoln?
Oh, I guess I'll go to unmute myself. I'm doing well, thanks. What about you?
Oh, can't complain. Can't complain.
I hear you.
Give me just a second. I get set up here.
Ray, I noticed there's two brand new listings in Frost Farm this past couple of days.
New listings where?
Up in Frost Farms there in DeSoto, right off Pleasant Run.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, listings are hard to come by nowadays.
I lived in DeSoto when they built that addition, and I always kind of have keep my pulse on it sometimes. And
Yep.
it's hard to find something there. And then all of a sudden, this past week, two of them just showed up like on Friday. I'm like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Latasha, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good.
Hey, Tiffany, how you doing?
Hey Ray, good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good.
All right. Well, it is now 1 o'clock, and I want to of everyone's time, and I wanted to go ahead and get started. So today I'll be reviewing my presentation just to give everyone an example of what I do when I meet with buyers. This could be a referral. This can be someone that I met from an internet lead, or maybe someone from my sphere as well. But before I jump into the presentation, I wanted to give a couple of tips that have been helpful for me whenever I meet with buyers. The first thing that I do, whether it's a person that I know or person that I don't know, is I want to make sure that I build a rapport. So wherever we're meeting at, office or at a Starbucks or neutral location, I want to ask if it's someone I don't know, what brought you here to Dallas? If it's someone that I do know, I ask about their family. How's your wife? How's the kids? If something that I already know about them, how's their job? If they're interested in sports or we have some kind of commonalities in sports, I may discuss some of their sports teams or whatever, just to kind of get things warmed up instead of just jumping straight into the presentation and just start rattling off a lot of questions. It's just a way for us to, again, just kind of build that rapport, give them an opportunity to ask me questions about me, my family, or what have you. The next step is basically treat all of your buyers the same. So, and what I mean by that is sometimes we can get a little more comfortable with people that we know versus people that we don't know. And for me, if it's someone that I do know, I'm going to make sure I bring that same level of professionalism, even if I do know a lot of background information about them. Once I really go into my presentation, I want to make sure that I set the same expectations for everybody that I work with. And it tends to work out a lot better that way, because if it's somebody that you know, they may try to have you maybe do like a lot of different showings, or you may skip some of your steps that you normally take with everyone else. So for me, whether I've known you for a month or I've known you for 10 years, when I get to the presentation part of it, everybody gets the same presentation. And then the next reason is, so let's say that it's someone that you know, and for whatever reason, they may not be ready to buy right then, right there, but you sat down with them for, an hour, hour and a half doing your presentation. At the end, you want to always ask them for a referral. And by you doing that hour, hour and a half presentation, they're taking in all of that information and say, you know what, I can really see Ray in this role as a realtor. So I do know someone else I like to refer to him because he has this level of professionalism. If you don't approach it that way, and let's say they're not ready to buy, and you kind of shortcut some of your presentation, say, "Oh, tell me the number of bedrooms you want, the number of bathrooms. I'll send you a list of houses, then we go out on the weekend." Well, that doesn't really show all of the value that you bring to the table as a real estate professional. So I believe for me, that's one of the things that I'll always do, because I'm also looking to get into their spirit as well. So it's not just about the people that I know. I want to be able to break into the spirit of the people that they know as well, and they can bring them back to me as potential referrals. Another thing that I always do is set expectations throughout my presentation. So while you're listening at the example, you'll hear me plant seeds to, to create a sense of urgency. I'll talk about the market as it is now, how houses are not staying on the market longer than 24 hours in some cases, and 5 days in some cases, full price offers. When I talk about the money that they have to bring to the table for earnest money, option money, inspection, I build those pieces into my presentation, so they know exactly what it is I'm looking for, and they'll know, well, we're not just going to go out and look at 10, 15, and 20 houses. We're going to take your top five and narrow it down to those, so we can get the house that they're looking for. So setting those expectations repeatedly throughout your presentation, or whenever I do my presentation, that has been very beneficial for me as well. And the last thing is set an expectation for yourself that every appointment that you go on, that you're expecting to get the buyer rep agreement signed. In the beginning, when I was meeting with people for coffee or what have you, I didn't have the expectation that they were going to sign the buyer rep agreement. So caught off guard when I asked them, okay, now we're beyond the presentation point. The next step is to sign the paperwork. Are you ready? They would say yes, and I would be taken aback, like, okay, I wasn't expecting you to say yes. I was looking for maybe a no, or not right now, maybe later. So I had to change my mindset to say, you know what, every presentation that I go on, at the end of it, I'm going to get a buyer rep agreement signed. So far, did anyone have any questions? Okay. So now I want to go into my buyer presentation. And for this, Latasha, she's going to assist. She's going to be the buyer. So Latasha, do you want to take a second to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, I'm Latasha Johnson. I've been with the office for 2 years. I just became a full-time realtor this past June. Um, and Ray and I actually were in our Ignite classes together. So a little bit about me.
Give me a second to share my screen. See my buyer's packet. Okay, Latasha, can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so my buyer's packet was created through Breakthrough Broker, and it's a free website. It's called breakthroughbroker.com. You set up a profile, and within that profile, you can upload your picture, your name, your contact information, license number, email address, website. And once you set that up, it'll have a lot of different options for buyer's packets, listing presentations. You can do a lot of your open house material, just a lot of different tools that you can use as an agent. And once you set that profile and you have all of that information uploaded, everything you do, you can have it branded for yourself. And again, it's free. Okay.
Sorry about that, y'all.
Hey, Ray, I have a question about Breakthrough Broker.
Yes.
So you know how sometimes I've seen agents that'll have listing packets that are kind of like a brochure format where you open it up and it has folder slips in there so that you can slide things in like a TMA and other stuff. Do Breakthrough Broker have the options for us to do the brochure style?
I believe so. So anything that you order from them, there are fees associated with, if you have them print material and ship it out to you, then they do have different fees for that. But anything electronic like this, I just save to my computer and I print it off myself. So that part of it is free. But they do have several different brochures that you can customize as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, Latasha and I, we're about to get started. And in this scenario, we're pretending that Latasha was sent to me as a referral from somebody that I know. And we're meeting at, well, we'll do Zoom. Lately, I've been doing a lot of Zoom presentations. So I'll give you all kind of an example of what that looks like. So, Latasha, you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Hey, Latasha, how you doing? This is Ray.
Hey, Ray, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to meet with me, just so we can review your home ownership needs and your goals for 2021.
Perfect. I'm excited. We're ready to get to Dallas.
Okay. Well, before we get started, can you tell me just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how did you land on Dallas as being the place that you wanted to move to?
Okay, perfect. We are originally from Atlanta. We relocated from Atlanta to Austin, and now we're looking to move to Dallas. It's just the two of us. It's just me and my husband. All of the kids are grown and out of the house, so it'll just be the two of us living in the home.
Okay, cool. And have you guys been to Dallas already? Are there certain areas that you guys like more than others?
No, we've only visited once, and it was close to his job, which is in Carrollton. And then we visited the mall. That was it. So I really don't know much about the area.
Gotcha. So as we go through the presentation, I'll ask some additional questions, kind of narrow down different areas that we'll look at.
Okay.
And you said you're from Atlanta originally, right?
Yes, from Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. My family and I, we almost moved to Atlanta back in the early 2000s. But once my sister moved to Dallas, we would come out and we visit, and we just fell in love with the area. So we've been here a little over 5 years now. So it's a very, very good place. family-oriented area that we live in, and we have no complaints. We actually love it here.
Yes, yes. Where are you from again?
I'm originally from Mississippi, from a city called Vicksburg, Mississippi. It's
Okay.
about 30 minutes outside of the capital of Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, yeah, Dallas and Atlanta are kind of similar, but Dallas is, of course, a lot bigger than Atlanta, so I can see
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to ask you a couple of general questions, a couple of finance questions about your finances, and we'll wrap up with asking you about the home that you and your husband have been kind of talking about, okay?
Okay, perfect.
All right. So, first question is, where do you want to buy a property? I know you said you've been to like the Carrollton area and you haven't really looked anywhere where else. Do you guys have any other cities that you may have in mind?
No, that is the only city that we are, familiar with. If we can find something in that area, or no, I don't want my husband to commute no more than 20 minutes to get to work. So,
Okay. All right, let me make a note of that, about 20-minute commute.
yeah.
Okay, and you also said that you guys don't have any school-age kids. So the next question we talk about school districts. So we'll skip over that. What about pets? Do you guys have any pets?
No, no pets.
Okay. And have you all bought or sold a whole home in the past?
Well, we just sold our home in 2014, so it's been a minute.
Okay, so 2014, a little over 6 years ago.
Mhm.
Okay. And the reason I asked because Texas have some home buyer grants that are available for some clients that haven't owned a home within the last 3 years.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll mention that information to my lender to let them know that you haven't been a homeowner within the last 3 years to see if you guys qualify for any of those grants that may help with down payment assistance.
Okay, perfect.
All right. And let's see. Are you currently in a lease?
Yes, we are in a lease. We are leasing an apartment.
Okay, gotcha. And when does that lease expire?
That lease expires in March, so we are absolutely ready to start, the home buying process.
Gotcha. And I'm sorry if y'all hear these sirens in the background. There's something going on around here. Can y'all hear the sirens in the background?
Yes,
Sorry.
that's
The
okay.
inside of Starbucks is closed, so I had to do it outside. Um, so yeah, you say your lease is up in March. So looking right now is very good because typically in this particular market, it takes about 30 days to close. So that's give us time to go out, search for homes, find the one that you really like, get under contract, and close potentially toward the end of January or the beginning of February.
Okay, perfect.
And are you guys interested in a new home, a resale home, or either or?
Either or, no particular preference.
Okay. All right. So another thing that I'll do is look at what we call here in Dallas inventory homes. Those are homes that are already built, but no one has lived in them just yet. So the builders will sell them to buyers as well. And we can see if there's one that's ready now or if there's one that'll be completed before March, before your lease is up. And we may be able to add some of those to the list as well.
Okay, perfect.
Do you or any members of your family have any disabilities, conditions, or other circumstances that would require specific home features?
No, no.
Okay, all right. And our next section talks about financing and pricing. So I may ask a couple of personal questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, all right. So have you arranged financing yet, or will you be paying with cash to purchase your home?
No, we won't be paying in cash, so we will need to get finance.
Okay, all right. And do you need assistance locating a lender?
Yes, we do.
You will?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I have a list of preferred lenders that I worked with in the past, and I can give you their information. I can also touch bases with them to have them reach out to you. I would strongly suggest that you basically interview them as well to find out which one is the best fit. And if as long as you do that, um, as long as you check with those lenders in a 30-day time frame, it doesn't count against your credit more than once, and only count as one time as a credit hit. And you could potentially have them basically fight for your business, so you can get the best interest rate that's available.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so the next question talks about you being pre-qualified or pre-approved, or finding out what your maximum purchase amount is. So that information will also come from your lender. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Also, do you have enough funds in your account to cover your earnest money? And typically, that's about 1% of your purchase price. So, for example, if your house $200,000, 1% would be 2,000. And if the house is about $300,000, 1% would be 3,000.
Okay, yeah, we should have enough for that.
Okay. All right. And what monthly payment range would you feel comfortable with?
We don't want to go over 2,700 a month.
About 2,700.
Yeah.
Okay, so that information is also going to be helpful for your lender because you could qualify for much more. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with their monthly payment range as well. So as you're looking for those lenders, I'll also give them a heads up of where your comfort zone or your comfort level is, so we don't have to max out your loan.
Okay, perfect.
All right. And will you require down payment assistance?
No, no, I wouldn't.
Okay, all right. And down payment, typically, if you have a conventional loan, it's about 3% down, the minimal. Or if you have an FHA loan, that'll be about 3.5% down, based on the purchase price of the house.
Okay.
All right.
So if I did need assistance with down payment,
Mm-hmm.
um, are there any programs or anything out there?
Well, I want to have the lender look at the criteria. Sometimes the criteria does change, but the last time I checked, if you haven't owned a home within the last 3 years, you could qualify for down payment assistance. Again, it kind of fall under the umbrella of a first-time home buyer.
Okay, sounds good.
So when I reach out to the lender, I'll let them know that you guys haven't been a homeowner since 2014 to see if there's any funds available to assist with down payment as well.
Okay, great.
All right. The next section, we're going to talk about the house. Okay. So during this time, I want you to be able to paint a picture of your perfect house. And that way, that helps me kind of get a picture of the type of house that you want. So as we select houses to go look at for your private tour, I can use your preference sheet to make sure the picture that you painted in your mind is the same thing that's available on the market. Okay.
Perfect.
So in your new home, what style of home would you prefer?
I would prefer a two-story home.
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
would like the master on the main level as well as a guest bedroom on the main level for our parents when they come visit.
Okay. And I won't be able to really narrow down the criteria by that, but I can make sure that the master's on the first level, and then we can look through some of those houses individually to make sure that they have that secondary bedroom on the first level as well.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. And some of these questions are they're generalized because from time to time I get referrals from clients that are out of state. So some of the questions may not apply. But if I do work with an out-of-state client, for instance, there's one question to talk about the basement. Well, here in Texas, it's not typical to have a basement. But if I'm working with a client in Chicago, I'll see if that's one of their preferences. So if I needed to send a referral to the top agent in that area, I can make sure that's one of the things that's on their list as well.
Okay.
All right. And when it comes to the master bathroom, would you want the like a separate tub and shower, shower only, tub shower combo, the double vanities?
Yes, I do want all of that.
Okay, it sounds good. So that would be considered what we call a five piece. So I would indicate you would want basically the
Okay.
full master. When it comes to your square footage, would you want something under 1,000 square feet, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, or 3,000 square feet or more?
Probably around that 2 to 3,000 range.
Okay, all right, writing it down. And the next question again, that wouldn't apply to you about a basement. What about air conditioning? Yeah,
Yeah, it's it's hot in Dallas, so yeah, we need that AC.
gotcha. All right, so it is a central air. What about an open floor plan? Would that be a yes, no, or no particular preference?
Yes, I do want an open floor
Okay. What about formal dining? That'd be yes, no, or no preference.
plan. I don't have to have it, so no particular preference.
Okay, but if it does have one, that'd be kind of a bonus for you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What about a sprinkler system?
No preference. If it's there, great. If not, then we'll just get it installed. That's not an issue.
Gotcha. And what about a garage?
Yes, we want a 2-car garage.
Okay. And what if it had a carport that could accommodate two cars or a traditional garage with a garage door?
Garage.
There you go. This is your dream home now. This is the time to sell it. So we can take cars off that just have like a carport, okay?
Yeah.
What about a heated garage?
No particular preference on that. So no. If I do, great. If not, that's fine as well.
Okay. What about an office or an area for a study?
Yes, we do need an office.
Yeah, a lot of people are requesting an office now, especially with COVID, with people working from home. So we definitely look for an office.
Yeah.
About a patio or a deck.
Yes.
Okay. And what about a pool?
No pool.
Okay. And have you and your husband talked about the size of the lot that you
We
got?
do want a home with at least an acre that sits
Okay.
on at least an acre.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna write down 1 acre. What about mature landscaping where you have trees and things like that on the lot as well?
Yes, I need that.
Okay. And bedrooms and bathrooms, how many?
4 bedrooms, 3 baths.
Okay, 4, 3. Gotcha. And is a guarded gate important to you?
No.
Like a gated? Okay.
Uh-uh.
All right. So are there any other specific features that were not addressed in this questionnaire that you would like to be factored into your property search?
Yes, I do want a nice size front porch so that I can sit
Okay.
out and enjoy the weather on those nice days. So I would like a
Nice.
nice size porch.
Okay. Gotcha. And I know you were referred to me, but I do want to ask, are you currently working with any other real estate agent?
No, not at all.
Okay. And are you in an exclusive buyer agency contract with any other agent?
No.
All right. Well, lastly, I just need a little bit more of your contact information. What is your current address?
It's 2037.
123. Say 123 Main Street.
Oh, yeah, that part. 2037 Main Street.
All right. And I already have your mobile number and email address. Can you send me what is your husband's email address?
It's victor@gmail.com.
Ready? And the next section, it just talks about real estate terminology. I know you guys are homeowners before, but this is some of the terms that you'll hear throughout the home buying process. And I'll send this information to you just as a refresher as well, okay?
Okay.
All right, so far, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time. I don't.
Okay. All right, and our next slide, it just talks about the benefits of home ownership. As I said before, you've been a homeowner, so I'm sure that you kind of recognize those benefits as well.
Mhm.
All right, and one of the last things I want to do is actually go over the home buying process. And again, you know, I know you worked with an agent before in Atlanta, but the thing is, each agent may do things a little bit different. So I want to explain to you my home buying process and some things that may be specific to Texas that may be a little bit different from Georgia. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So step one is here in the red where it says meet with the real estate professional, which is myself. The next step is for you to get pre-approved. As I stated before, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to my preferred lenders, let them know that you're interested in getting the ball rolling with getting pre-approved. Also indicating that you haven't been homeowner since 2016 to see if there's any grants that are available. And again, make sure that you go ahead and compare the different lenders that you talk to see if they can basically fight for your business and get you the best interest rate.
Okay, perfect.
The next the next step is we search for homes. So I'm going to set up an automatic email search on your criteria, your 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, at least 2,000 square feet. And from there, you're going to look, it may send about 10, 15, 20 different homes. From those homes, we're going to pick your top five, the top five that meet your criteria, and we'll set up private tours and we'll go out and we'll look at those homes. After I get the pre-approval from the lender and you have an opportunity to speak with the lender, to have a clear picture on down payment, on closing costs, cash you'll need to close, and things of that nature. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So our next step, we will, I'll put together the contract so we can make an offer. Within that the next phase, we'll negotiate the contract. The seller may want to make some changes to the initial offer that we submit. One thing that I have noticed in this market, houses are moving really, really fast. So maybe around this time last year, I was able to include some negotiations where the sellers would maybe cover some of the closing costs or they were a little more flexible on this price. In this particular market, it's a little difficult. In some situations, I may be able, but recently, even with houses that I've listed, a lot of houses are going for list price. So just want you to be aware of that, okay?
Okay, perfect.
All right. After we go through negotiations with the seller, the next step is we'll be under contract or in escrow. That's where the seller and yourself have agreed to move forward in the home buying process. And in this step, this is the first time that money is being introduced.
Okay.
So I like to have everything done within 2 days, no more than three. So within that first 2 to 3 days, the earnest money is due again, which is 1% of the purchase price. So if the house is 300,000, it'd be about 3,000. Um, Also, want to go ahead and pay for inspection within that first day or two, so we can get our inspector out. They'll look at the house from top to bottom. They'll produce an inspection report. We'll review that report to see if this is the house that you want to move forward with. Request repairs by the seller as well. And the third thing is here in Texas, we have what is called an option period. Typically, it's anywhere from it's a a date that we put in the contract. Sometimes it's 5 days, sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 10 days, just depending on the property. If it has a lot of interest on it, we may shoot for a shorter option period. And that's a period of time for us to do our due diligence for the inspector again to come in, inspect the property. And it's one of the best opportunities for you to say, you know what, this house need a little bit more work than we're willing to do. Seller's not willing to negotiate. We pull out of the deal. Your option fee for a house is 300,000. It may be about $250 to $300. If
Okay.
you guys do exercise your option to terminate the contract for any reason, the seller keeps the $300 and you guys get your earnest money back.
Okay.
So again, I
So,
want to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so, you're saying if we terminate, the buyer gets to keep the option money,
Yes,
but we'll get the earnest money back?
correct.
Okay.
Yes. So again, at this step in escrow, that's the first time that money is introduced. So you have about 3,000 for earnest money. You have about 500 for the inspection. That's about 3,500. You may have another $300 for your option fee. So it'll be about $3,800 within that first 2 to 3 days that we go into contract.
Okay, perfect.
So once we get the inspection report back, I'll reach out to the listing agent to say, hey, these are some of the repairs that we would like to see that would help us move forward. We would negotiate those repairs. Once the seller agrees, they don't have to complete those repairs during that, excuse me, during that time frame, just as long as they have the repairs completed before closing.
Okay.
All right. So once repairs are agreed upon excuse me, the lender will go ahead and order the appraisal. An appraiser will come out, and typically that's about 3 weeks into the process. They'll come out, take a look at the house, and get an appraised value. And as long as the house meets the contract, the offer price, or they exceed it, then we'll be fine and we'll move to the next step, which is closing. You and your husband, you guys will meet at the title company. You bring your ID. We'll sign off the closing docs. The lender will let you know how much funds you need to close. You'll either bring a cashier's check or you'll wire those funds to the title company, and we'll be in the middle section of congratulations. You guys will be a new homeowner.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. I can't wait.
Well, good, good. That's again just my process of what I do to um, to make sure that we get you guys in your dream home. And again, I appreciate you spending time to go over the process.
Yeah, I'm glad we did go over it because, like I said, it's been a minute since we purchased, and I kind of remember some of these steps. So this was good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So our next step at this point is we'll have to sign a couple of forms, and this is to indicate that I'll be working for you guys and always having your best interests in mind. So I'll get these forms out and we'll review and get those signed.
Okay, sounds good.
All righty. And oh, by the way, I know you're in Austin, but by chance, is there anyone else that you may know that's looking to either to buy a house or to sell a house at this time?
No, not at this time. Um, I can't think of anyone right now, but if I do, I would definitely send them your information or give you their information.
Okay. Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that.
No problem.
And that is the conclusion of my buyer's presentation.
Perfect.
So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Whenever I do my very thorough buyer's presentation, about 90 to 95% of the time I get the buyer representation agreement signed. That doesn't necessarily mean that 90 to 95% of those clients purchase. Some may have credit challenges, some may just not be ready. We may not be able to find the home that they're looking for, but most times I don't have an issue with them agreeing to work with me or to agreeing to have me work for them.
Ray, can I ask you a question about your packet?
Yes.
Okay, well, first, I loved your presentation, so thank you for sharing that with us. And with that electronic form of your packet, do you also provide that to the client or to your prospective buyer? And the first few pages with your general questions, finance questions, and the home, when I know you're filling that out as you're talking with them, do you also provide them with the answers that they gave you so they kind of have reference to those things, or do you not?
When I meet with them in person, I keep that information. And when I go back and go into MLS and I set up the search for their criteria, that's what I'm using that information to set up that criteria. When we go out and we actually look for homes, I want to bring up information from the questionnaire to help guide them to say, you know what, just in a study, had an open floor plan, over 1 acre, and it has a beautiful front wraparound porch. So those are the things that I remember just from the questionnaire that I bring back up during the showing. So it's like, because even as buyers, they're gonna look for things to say, reasons to say no. And I'm gonna feed off of this particular questionnaire to say, this is in line with what you were looking for on paper, and now we have it in person.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Ray, how did you decide what you wanted to include in your buyer's packet?
It was just kind of trial and error. Before I had too much information. I had statistics. I had information from CCAR, the number of houses that were on the market, the fact that listings were down. It was just too much. And even when I did a presentation with a buyer, they said, okay, thank you for this information, but what does it mean? So it wasn't helpful for them. So I started to just cut back and reduce and just really get to the meat of what's important for the most number of buyers. And then throughout conversation, I customize it based off of their responses to make sure each one is going to be a little bit different. Because like with Latasha, she didn't have any kids. She's only looked at maybe 1 or 2 cities here in Dallas. So that presentation is going to be different from someone that has kids, someone that want to move to Forney or Fort Worth and anywhere in between. 2 completely different presentations. So the information is general, and it's enough to prompt other questions to make sure I'm addressing it with the buyer that I'm working with. Because I was trying to do a presentation that it was way longer than this. It was about 5 or 6 additional pages, and it wasn't effective.
I like that. And what about before your buyer consultation? Do you typically have talked to them on the phone and gotten some base information ahead of time or not?
So
I think he said,
basically, it's setting up. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear
We're
me?
listening. Uh-oh.
Sometimes I do get information in advance.
Okay. So it's typically a one-step, not a two-step
Whenever I
process.
talk to them on the phone, especially if it's,
Okay,
yeah, it's just a once process. I want to make sure I get the appointment set, and then based off of that appointment, I get all of the other information that I need. If they, in
gotcha.
doing that appointment, if it's a referral that I don't know, I try not to ask those very personal questions about like credit score and things like that. That could be kind of, but I see the conversation is going well, and they say, well, I think I'm ready, but I'm not sure about my credit. If they offer that information, then I follow up to say, you know what, well, what is your credit range? And typically they'll say above 600 or below 600. And then at that point, I say, you know what, let's go. I do have a list of credit repair specialists that may be able to assist as well. But I'll still go ahead and schedule the appointment because for me, it's an opportunity for me to demonstrate my level of professionalism and also ask for referrals. So they see, you know what, I may not be ready, but I know someone else that is.
That's perfect. Thank you for sharing. Any other questions? I like the way it's basic and it suits the person you're talking to, Ray. It suits you well, but it is a good, so you guys know if you've worked with me at all that I always say you've got to be yourself.
Yeah.
And this is a good way to do what you need to do and begin to build your business. And I know, Ray, you've probably perfected this over the past year, probably changed it several times over, maybe tweaked it is the right word, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Good job.
I had a couple of questions. I think I was stuck on mute when you asked.
Okay, go ahead.
So my first one is with the COVID and everything going on, when you do your meetings, how are you usually doing them right now? Are you doing like Zoom over the phone, or do you think it's better to meet in person?
I'm doing more
Oh,
Zoom than
okay.
anything, and it's working better for me because again, my clients that they come from anywhere, DeSoto, Grand Prairie, um, Princeton, so it cuts down on drive time for me. And at
Mm-hmm.
first, I thought the in-person consultation was better than Zoom, but either way have been effective. So yes, because of COVID, the majority of them have been through Zoom.
Okay, and then I did have another question. Um, as far as like your marketing tools, what would you say would be like your top maybe two marketing tools right now with everything that's going on? I noticed that you do have your badge on or your name tag. I don't know if that's because you're like meeting anyone today or if that's just something you always wear standard. I was thinking about, wearing either a Keller Williams t-shirt at all times or my name tag. What would you say were like the top tools for us to use right now to get leads?
Um, for me, social media,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook has been great. Um, I do a post about real estate at least once or twice a week. The other posts are about my family because I want to build a relationship with you first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to introduce real estate to you second. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I when I started out full time, I was just like you. I felt like if I didn't have my name tag on, or I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have my business cards with me, that I couldn't talk about real estate. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I changed in my mindset is to have real estate in my heart instead of having it on my sleeve. So that way I have real estate with me everywhere. And if I can strike a conversation with you, 9 times out of 10, real estate is going to come up.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, I guess I have one more question since no one
Go
else
ahead.
does.
Go
Are you
ahead.
posting every single day, numerous times a day? Do you keep a system with that or just whenever?
At least at the minimum once a week.
Okay.
That's my minimum once a week. If I have real estate activities as far as Showings. I may post about a showing. If I have a house that's under contract, I definitely want to post under contract or closing. I definitely want to post those two things irregardless.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't have a client that I'm working with, then I won't have an under contract or a closing to post. So I may um, post just different showings that I do. Maybe like a walkthrough working with
Mm-hmm.
builders. I may do a recording and do a walkthrough and to post that.
Okay, perfect. Thank
To
you.
be honest, the more that I post, people don't want to see me. They want to see my kids for some reason, my
Mm-hmm.
Facebook audience. So I've tried a lot of different things and I learned to stick with what works. So my
Mm-hmm.
idea may be to post about my sports team. I post about the Lakers or Dallas Cowboys. I don't get a lot of engagement from that. But the second I post my kids, everybody is responding and making and doing comments or they're sharing. So you have to find out what your audience want to see from you, and you just keep feeding them that information. Don't try to force what you like. You just have to find out what works for your audience, and that may be different from everybody.
So is this on your business page or your personal page, or do you have certain themes for both? I hope you can hear me. You're frozen on our side.
It's most of the stuff about my kids are on my personal page. Anything
Mm-hmm.
real estate related, I post on my business page first.
So he posts on his business page first, and then he'll share it to his personal
Mm-hmm.
page.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. Hey, Ray.
Good question, though.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
So guys, one of the things to remember is with Ray, I know because I've talked to him, this evolved over the course of the last year, year and a half. Each
Mm-hmm.
time you do it, you're going to get better. You know, Dick Dillingham
Mm-hmm.
has a saying, just do it, then do it better.
Okay.
And our personal KWP motto is first we do it best. No, first bet. What is it, Ray? First we do it best, then we're first, or something like that. First we do it best, then we'll be first. The goal is not to have a perfect presentation. The goal is to make the buyer feel comfortable, listen to their needs, get the questions that you need, the basics answered, and then you can build on it. And that's exactly what Ray's done. Thank you so much for sharing, Ray. I really appreciate it. Are there any other questions, guys? If there's not, I've got another appointment. I'm going to have to jump off, but I wanted to say thank you again.
Can I
Love
ask
the
one real
presentation.
quick one, Ray? Or for anyone, when you do get to your consultation with a client and you're asking some questions and they're like, oh, I really don't know, or I haven't really thought of that for some things, in those instances, do you provide them with the questions and kind of tell them, well, really think about this and then we'll come back? Or
It depends. I get a lot of clients that may get stuck on square footage
Mhm.
because they may never own a house and only lived in apartments, so they don't know what 2,500 square feet look like. They don't know what 3,000 square feet look like. So I may ask for, would you feel comfortable in a starter home? What areas in the home do you want to be larger than others? You okay with smaller bedrooms versus bigger living rooms? So I'll tweak my questions in that way to make sure as we're looking at houses, from the houses that I send them, that they don't get in the house and say, you know what, this bedroom is too small, let's go, because that's something we could have figured out during the consultation, and I take them off the list.
Hey guys,
So that's what I want to
see,
do,
I was a
is
kid.
narrow it down as much as possible.
Okay, thank you.
And sometimes with backyard, they don't know how big a backyard they want. I ask them, is something that you can manage the lawn care on, or do you want something with with a trampoline and a play set? Something large enough for a swimming pool, even if you don't want one. So I just want them to paint a picture of the type of house that they want. So as we're looking, or they say, ooh, I really like this house. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You said you wanted to make sure you had enough playroom in the backyard for the kids. This house doesn't offer that. Even though the inside is perfect and the outside doesn't work for you, do you still want to look at it? And 9 times out of 10, they say, you know what, Ray, you're right. I don't even want to look at it because I know it's not going to work.
All right, thank you.
Well, all right, guys, I appreciate it. If y'all have any other questions, I'm going to type my email into the chat. And you can reach out if you have any questions. And I'll be happy to help you guys out.
All right.
All righty. Talk to y'all later.
Thank you, Ray.
All right. Thank you.